Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. Comedic actor Robin Williams has just killed himself, allegedly by hanging. And that is quite a statement, not just personally, but politically. And the goal of this video isn't to take away from Robin Williams' death in any ways, but to openly criticize and try to interpret and understand what that statement meant. And maybe what drove Robin Williams to kill himself, which is absolutely tragic. Now, Steven Spielberg said that he was a lightning rod of comedic genius. I think that was largely true. As a comedian, as an actor who proved he could do both comedy and drama, whether or not it was Good Will Hunting, or it was Mrs. Doubtfire, or Bicentennial Man, which I think is interesting. One of the films that he left us with is really largely coming into reality and fruition today, this merger of man with machine, and this activism that was portrayed in the film for machines to have rights, for the AI or artificial intelligence to be viewed as a person with the same constitutional rights as most of us Americans, well, we at least used to have. Again, George Carlin, another very famous comedian, used to say, "It's all bullshit, folks, and it ain't good for you." He also used to say that we really don't have freedom here in America. What we have are temporary privileges. And that couldn't be more true. So what would drive a man, a lightning rod of comedic genius, who battled off and on severe depression, which is tragic in and of itself, also addiction, whether or not that was alcohol or cocaine, what would drive a man who supposedly had it all to hang himself? You know, I've been watching a series of videos online, a lot of people talking about it because, again, you know, they want to run the news cycle. And people genuinely feel that they knew Robin Williams, that they knew somebody that they actually didn't know in real life at all. And I'm watching all this outpouring of support. I'm watching all the heartbroken souls on YouTube and in the mainstream media and on CNN interviews, people feeling and reeling from this tragedy like they actually knew Robin Williams. But I kind of think that's the point. You know, nobody really knew Robin Williams except for his immediate family. They're the only ones really grieving right now. And it just goes to show you how full of shit the American people really are. Because they say they care about Robin Williams, but they really don't. You know, we can all think about it. We can all think that it's tragic. We can put the image of our mind of Robin Williams in his last moment before he was discovered hanging, making that last statement before he took his last breath. Allegedly, he was killed by his own hand due to asphyxiation. But none of us really knew him, nor do any of us, let's be honest, really care or really give a shit. And I think that's the problem with America. And you know what? Maybe it's one of the reasons Robin Williams killed himself. You know, we live in a country that's been extremely wealthy, that's had this giant surplus. And we are supposedly so connected to everybody around us, our country, the people, through social media, etc. When really, although we might be technologically connected, we're losing our own humanity. And these are concepts that Robin Williams actually explored in Bicentennial Man. What it meant to merge with man and machine, and how there was humanity, even more humanity, in a machine. And that's part of his comedic genius. That was part of the genius that was Robin Williams, to show us that. And I think he actually showed us that in real life with his last breath, with his choice, which I think was a fateful and tragic and inappropriate choice, to kill himself in that final moment. But maybe some of that bullshit, that self-aggrandizing bullshit that makes up America, drove Robin Williams to kill himself. All these people in this outpouring of support, the people that say that they knew him and that they care, really don't. And let me give you an example. I mean, if you really care, and if you're watching this video and you really care about Robin Williams, well then I want you to wear a black veil on your face for the next 30 days. I want you to wear a pin, pick whatever color you want to represent Robin Williams, and I don't want you to speak for 30 days. Don't go to work, don't do anything pleasurable, just mourn the loss of Robin Williams. And then we'll know you're for real. Then we'll know you're serious about mourning this person, that you actually really gave a shit, and that you actually really cared. And if CNN really cares, and the mainstream bullshit media and TMZ really cares, then I want to see them air nothing but Robin Williams reruns for the next 30 days. I don't want to see a single other piece of news for 30 days, if you really care. And you see, that's the point. He's just a news blip. He's just a news piece. Somebody as famous and wealthy and acclaimed as Robin Williams is only a 24 to 48 hour max news piece post his death. And then it's done. Then nobody cares. Nobody really gives a shit. It just goes to show you where Americans' priorities are. You know, I talk about this all the time, but people care more about, at least temporarily, Robin Williams' death than they do the president bypassing Congress twice in 2 new wars, Libya and the recent bombing, the double duo, in Iraq. They care more about Robin Williams, allegedly, than they do real stories, or the tragedy of 1,000 Palestinians dying at the hands of Israelis in Israeli attacks in Gaza. They care more about Hollywood than they actually do what's really happening in the world today. And you know, maybe it's what drove Robin Williams to drink. Maybe it's what drove him to do cocaine. Maybe it was just something that plagued him internally, battling his own demons. But such a brilliant mind, such a comedic genius, a real true lightning rod of spirit is now dead because you know what? He felt disconnected from the world. He didn't feel that any of it was real. He didn't care about the money. He didn't care about the location of where he lived. He didn't care about all the acclaim, all the movies. At the end of the day, he chose to end it all. And we have to ask why, because it's not just Robin Williams, it's the countless teens, it's the countless men and women of all age groups, all brackets, all creeds, all races, all religions, that choose in their final moment to make that decision, what many would call the most selfish act, and maybe even some would argue is quite courageous. I think Robin Williams made a statement. And although I'm not going to lie to you and say I really care about Robin Williams, you know what? That final statement, it did mean something. And I think he told us something real. I think he left his mark. And me personally, I'll remember him for that. I'm Christopher Green. You've been tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television, hard-hitting and in your face. Please share this video virally. I'd like to hear from you. Put it in the comment box below and click the link below to support our sponsor.